What is up, my brothers? This one is actually a sponsored video from a woman that wanted to know, or get some tips at least, on why she's struggling finding a good guy. I'm not going to bother reading the whole thing. The too long didn't read version of it is, she's in her early 40s, professional, making about $220,000 a year, climbed the corporate ladder, and is looking for a good guy to settle down with. And this is something that we've seen in quite a few magazine articles over the last few years that cater to, the go girl, boss girl sort of crowd, along the lines of there's no good guys, or why do all these women have like a picture on a magazine cover of like 5 different women, ages ranging from like early 40s to late 50s. They're all sassy and this, that, and the other thing. And why are they having a hard time finding a good guy? Well, I'm going to tell you why. There's really 3 main reasons, and none of these articles will ever tell you guys this cold hard truth. It's not going to be lovely and covered in rainbows and butterflies, but here we go. The first reason why you're struggling is because you have a very narrow dating pool. So women are hypergamous by nature. All that means is they're basically looking for the bigger, better deal. You see, if you're a professional woman in your 40s or 50s, and you've climbed the corporate ladder, you've got you're a medical doctor, you're a lawyer or something like that, you've made lots of money, you've got a few pieces of paper on the wall framed in mahogany with little letters after your name, telling the world who you are and what you're all about. That looks great on paper, but the problem is that generally speaking, guys are not attracted to degrees, right? There's been no guy ever that I've been aware of, myself included, that ever said, look at the degree on that chick. That's not how guys operate. Men are success objects to women. Women are beauty objects to men. That's the cold hard truth about the way that works. And when you climb the socioeconomic ladder as a woman, making all this money, doing the corporate gigs and all that sort of stuff, you've bought your house, maybe paid it off, you've got a nice car with a German badge on it, and you're hot to trot. That's great and all, but guess what? Your dating pool's a lot smaller, because you only date up and across. You make $250,000 a year, you're only dating guys that make about that money or more. And I'm going to tie that into another reason why it doesn't work out for you as well, ladies. So that brings me to point number 2, which is successful men that you'd like to date, that you think are turned on by your sass or your boss girl notions, they generally date younger, hotter, more agreeable women, okay? It's just what guys do. Again, men are success objects, women are beauty objects, and a early 40s woman can't compete with a early 20s woman. It's just the cold hard truth. They're younger, they're more beautiful, they've got a lot more life ahead of them, they're more fertile. There's a whole bunch of reasons why men do it, and it's universal around the world, by the way. If you've read any number of evolutionary psychology books, there's almost always a chapter or a section in the book dedicated to attraction levels. And from surveys from around the world, universally from all cultures and all part of the world, when men are shown photographs of attractive women ages, I think 18 is where they usually start, 18 to 20, all the way up to something like 70, universally all men, all cultures, all the way across the world choose on average about 23-year-olds. So that's what men think of attraction. Men around the world believe that younger women are more attractive, and why wouldn't they? For a very, very long time, and still to this day, in fact, if we're being honest, men have always looked at women as beauty objects, and no amount of social pressure, magazine articles, Me Too's, trying to use coercion or acceptance protocols. We start to hear a lot of these fat acceptance protocols, or men should just date women their own age sort of thing. Well, that's cool and all, but what is men's behavior telling you? They're choosing younger, hotter women. So not only when you've climbed the corporate ladder and achieved all of that, do you have a smaller dating pool to choose from, but what's left of the dating pool to choose from is generally choosing younger, hotter women, not women that are their own age. Which brings me to the third and final point. The quality of women in that age bracket that men generally look at. I experience this myself personally, a lot of my friends and a ton of the guys that I've coached when they're looking for help, with women in their lives. is women of that age group generally aren't long-term relationship type of material. I'll tell you why. Well, they've generally been around the block. They've got a notch count. They often bring small children in tow, sometimes from different fathers. If you haven't seen my video that I did on, this is more for guys, but the ladies should watch it too, what men need to know about dating single moms. I'll put a card up in the top right. You can check it out afterwards. So there's that. They're also fairly disagreeable, you know, in some cases, and in many cases they're just almost insufferable, if I can put it, you know, to a not too fine of a point, to be around. And men of higher caliber, which is what these successful, you know, corporate gig, you know, boss girl women are looking for, aren't keen on, you know, going out throughout their day, chasing excellence, making bank, and then coming home to an argument or to disagreeableness. They're looking for comfort. They're looking for kindness. They're looking for a woman that can, you know, turn his house into a home, if you know what I'm saying. And that's really what it all just boils down to. So those are the three main reasons why a lot of these women that are, you know, the sassy, older sort of boss girls that have chased degrees in excellence are having a hard time finding, you know, a good guy. And I'm putting that in quotations. It's just a cold, hard truth. It's just reality of the whole thing with the sexual marketplace. Is that's not what guys that age bracket in the success category are looking for. And it also like speaks volumes for why there's so many younger guys dating a lot of these older women, because a lot of these successful women have, you know, made a lot of money, they have a nice house, a nice car, and then they'll often go out and they'll meet these younger guys in nightclubs and bars, and they'll just pick them up and they'll hook up and they'll do their thing with them. And they end up getting into a bit of a relationship. I know a lot of younger guys, and when I say younger, I'm going to say about a decade younger than a lot of these 40-something women, even 50-something women that are dating these older women just because that's what they get. And, you know, these successful women look at these younger guys more as beauty objects at that point, because there's, you know, believe it or not, there's a lot of guys that are in the older category that can't perform or have difficulty performing in the bedroom. They haven't made self-care a priority in their lives, and things aren't functioning properly, if you know what I'm saying. So a lot of the older ones will start to date some of these younger guys, because guys their age are generally dating younger, hotter women, and they're staying away from the disagreeable, you know, the sassy boss girls, you know, the ones with a bunch of kids in tow. Guys just don't want to put up with that. It's a cold, hard truth, and not a lot of people are going to be willing to speak these facts. But, you know, she sent me this brief email asking me to dedicate a video to the topic. I hope it offers some clarity to some of those professional women out there. If I could offer a word of advice to some of the younger ladies out there, if you want a guy on a long-term basis in your life to raise a family with, and some of these ladies, like, you'll see them in their late 30s, even early 40s sometimes, saying, I'm looking for a guy to settle down and have a family with. And it's like, you're 42, you're 43, in some cases 45. Your fertility window is like just about closed. There's very, very little time left. And in many cases, even if you are lucky and you knock one out of the park, a lot of the times you run into developmental or high-risk pregnancies and all kinds of problems like that. In many cases, IVF treatment is necessary to facilitate a pregnancy. So, I mean, you know, to the younger ladies out there, the most important thing that you can do, you know, women are very interested in what a guy's future looks like. You know, what is it that he can do? That's what women look at, is what does his future look like? Guys are more interested in her past. What did her past look like? Does she have a big notch count? Has she been around the block several times? Was she treated like the village bicycle sort of thing? You know, they look at those things. Preserve your value. Men need to create value. They need to make something out of themselves. Women need to preserve their value and make sure that they offer something of value to a guy. And also, again, if you want a family, do it younger. If you're going to compromise and climb the corporate ladder and at 42 look around and go, okay, I'm ready to have babies now, you're going to have a hard time finding a guy, because a lot of guys are not interested in that. They've either got it out of the way, or they're going to do it with somebody that's younger, more agreeable, and less, you know, going to offer fewer pieces of baggage in their life, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up on that note. Check out the card I put up on the top right if you're new to the channel. Also, make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss uploads. Monday night's probably the best series for you guys to check out. Again, if you're newer, it's called the Unplugged Alpha series. It's based on the book that I wrote last year. If you want to check out some important links, they're always pinned in the top comment below. Links to buy my book, schedule me for coaching for one-on-one consults, my community and all this stuff. You can go check that all out. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll see you all in the next video. Peace.